All right, let me put that down. See what we got here. Okay. All right, let me. All right, where are my controls? There are my controls. All right. Well, hello, hello, hello. I am Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, and this is Evolve Weekly. And currently, we are working on a 52-week series on how to implement a more perfect union, right? And we're heading on over to New Mexico. Little housekeeping up front. All right. Why are you laughing, Tigress? Because I get the most interesting questions, inquiries when I'm out and about, especially as it draws nearer to the election cycle. So I know there was a lot of confusion because of the recent changes in North Carolina, the postponement of the election, the change, the redistricting for electoral districts, just so much is going on in North Carolina, if you're following. So the election on yesterday was for a municipal election, indeed, but for the townships surrounding Charlotte, like Matthews, and I believe Pineville, yeah, all of those, it was several, and actually we can pull it up here in just 1 second. And so that was not the general election for Charlotte as a municipality. Instead, the filing for candidacy begins actually nearer to my birthday, which is December 5th. Yay! Okay, and yeah, so there's nothing to vote for right now, if you don't live in those areas, of course. And alternatively, the exciting part is that we are drawing nearer to the election cycle, and it is time to really focus and pull together. Help me, help us, because I can do, my impact is minimal from the outside, right? There are individuals who can have a greater impact from the outside. Someone like myself, they know the aptitude that I bring to the table, and they know that I'm completely disconnected from the status quo and corruption. So they're really good at keeping me out from the seat that I have, quote unquote, in the community from the outside. So yes, can I influence? Can I even move? And when I say move, is my impact, is my voice strong enough, viable enough? Do they respect me? No. Let's be clear about that. Most of them have absolutely no respect for me. Now, those who are on the right side of justice, of course, we have a great rapport and we have mutual respect. But those who are not on the right side of justice, they do perceive me as their enemy and a threat, which it's just tiresome, right? But what I'm getting at is that it then makes it very difficult for me to enter the legislative general body room, if you will. I can still make my impact minimally from the outsides, but they do everything under their, within their control to keep me away. Similar to the gatekeeper order, which some of you are aware of. that has been vacated and put back and vacated and put back and vacated because 100% of her filings are approval worthy, and then put back in place because I had to to move upon my legal actions that were effectually stagnated while awaiting the vacating of the fraudulent gatekeeper order. Okay, a lot of you know I didn't initiate 162 cases in 72 counties. There are only 100 counties in North Carolina. So the notion of that is imbecilic and psychologically impressive, and not in a good way, because you see, they also purport that I filed all of these, I initiated all of these actions under indigency. And some of you are familiar with that term, some of you are not. If you're not familiar with the term, it just means that you cannot afford to pay the costs, the court costs to initiate your complaint and pay the additional fees for your responsive pleadings, right? And whereas indeed, I have had to file indigency in the past years for any of my actions, and that's mainly because of the proximate causation for my financial hardship, which is their fraud, their defamation of my character, the completely libelous and knowingly fraudulent misrepresentation of my litigation history, the gatekeeper order, the public disdain and prejudice to which they have exposed me through their libelous articles and just all that stuff. It has impacted my financial stability. And even as it relates to the CMS incidents that we've suffered, 504 violations, just so much. Medical expenses upwards to $11,000 right now. And of course, they were higher. The hospital allowed me to apply for a program that took care of half of that particular debt, which directly resulted from the teacher, Patricia Falk, giving my son M&Ms, the mocking of that whole situation when a dairy allergy and food allergies can be fatal. And I'm just thankful to have my son and him be extremely well coming off of that, having experienced a series of surgeries, dilation surgeries for treatment from that allergic reaction that he suffered. Honey. Yeah. So yes, have I filed indigent? Hell yeah. I'm well within my rights and I'm doing it validly. So I'm not lying about it. And in fact, I have under oath, which is, of course, when you have, that's the intention when you notarize, because they're notarizing your signature that that you've effectually affirmed everything that you stated therein. They're not notarizing the contents, right? So ultimately, yes, I have filed affidavits in support of that to show without question, undeniably, yes, I may have money. We all have money. I have money to pay rent. I have money to pay light bill. I have money to pay for my son's needs. I have money. Here's another way that they have impacted us. I have money to pay for my son's tuition to attend a private academy because CMS did not provide a remote option for children who would be more vulnerable in the pandemic, especially with the heightened issues with children contracting the virus and being hospitalized. And those are children who are, quote unquote, have no condition as with their any aspect of their health, right? Or no known, conditions. And again, what I say all the time, we're all vulnerable. We just, some of us have unique situations that put us in a maybe more vulnerable situation, especially as it relates to the pandemic. So yeah, can I take care of those things? And just because I can budget well to make that life work for us, that does not mean that I have $500 to pay the court to initiate an action. And those of you who are familiar with the process, then that again, as I've already alluded to or actually stated, there are additional costs that come along with litigating your action properly. So every time you file a responsive pleading or a litigative pleading, so let's say you file your complaint, right? So that's $120. I think it's $96 for the court fees and $30 for the sheriff or something like that. I've paid the fees before. I've done it before. So it's ridiculous to put out this nonsense that somehow I've done it and done it into perpetuity and plan to do it into perpetuity. The reality is, if they leave my money alone, you see what I'm saying? If they leave me alone, they therefore leave my money alone. And then you see how that math works. That math is finite, honey. It's finite. It's finite math. Okay, so the point I'm making here is that when you maybe file a motion to add parties, like a joinder, and right now I don't know the fees for, I can't recall off the top of my head, the fees for each additional filing, each additional pleading, but it can get very costly. And especially when it's time to go to trial, you have your discovery, your exhibits, your pretrial motions, your briefs, it can be quite cumbersome. You have your service fees, and I don't get out of that. So it's not, and I'm not going to spend the whole day on this, but on the whole session on this. But while we're at it, let's just really dive into just how ridiculous the notion, how imbecilic, how Neanderthalish it is to put that out into the world in a newspaper. And unfortunately, your average person, your lay person, is not aware of the specificity that is required to initiate 162 cases as an indigent person in 72 counties of Lord. And then the fact that, because I want to be a little bit low key, like, why would y'all believe that nonsense? Why would you believe that I'm driving around the 72 counties? There are 100 counties in North Carolina. So that means I would have to be driving around there are counties. Let's be clear, I have not even been to all the counties in North Carolina, nor do I want to visit. Maybe I've driven through on my way to Georgia, or on my way to Tennessee, or on my way to Louisville, Kentucky. But I have absolutely no interest, and I can't tell you where the courthouses are, except that, we can assume that they're downtown. Do you know how difficult it is for a Black person to file a complaint and not be a public figure? Do any of you know that? I know that you know that, because I know that you've experienced it. How about a woman? How about a single mom filing a custody case? Mind you, my sole legal custody case is stagnated as well, now for almost 3 years. And so we're talking about major injuries that we have suffered because of this. So the point I'm making is that, dead the nonsense. Okay. To answer the rest of your questions, because you have so many. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm an open book. This process has rendered in me a level of transparency that I know is uncomfortable for a lot of people. And I understand that. But I am still committed to the end goal, and that is to achieve a seat in office so that we can evolve together. And I believe, and I've had a great impact even on this local campaign community. Candidates have curbed their disdainful interaction with one another. There have been more respectful interaction on the campaign trail, because I call it out. We're not gonna do none of that stuff. And I'm not having to call it out like I got to chastise children, but we're just not. Now, there was one incident, and I did explain to y'all, and y'all keep electing, you keep elected. But generally, I'm very, very, very delighted that my standards, my principles of positivity and non-toxic positivity have been incorporated, even albeit minimally. So your questions, your additional questions, I will actually be answering them in an interview style video series. I have some of those that are up now because it was Vote USA. They gave and likely will give candidates, I believe they do it every election cycle, and they give candidates an opportunity to attach a link. Asa, come and get your spaghetti. Come check it real quick. They allow us to attach links to the pages that they set up for us on their website, similar to Ballotopedia, like Wikipedia, right? Very similar to that. And but of course, in a lot of ways, well, I think both of them are rather trusted. I don't know what the preference is. I believe that the preference is probably Vote USA. They seem to be very, very objective and a neutral PAC. And I've always really enjoyed my interactions with them. They're always pleasant, professional, and I wouldn't know whether they voted for me or not. We don't have to go there. It's just they just seem to treat everybody, pretty kindly. And so what I'm getting at is I had uploaded some of those in the last election. I think now that was 2018 at this point. And so you've seen those, but they were done very, very organically. I think I'm going to step it up. Well, no, I don't think. I'm going to step it up because I understand where some of you want to see me in the light that you perceive me. And I appreciate that. I do. I really, really appreciate that. But I also want to remain true to myself and be down to earth, because there's no point in further perpetuating this elitism, that is attached to the political class. We're not doing none of that, okay? Because that's not finite math. That's wonky math, and we're not doing wonky math. We're not going to do that, okay? And I am looking forward to recording those. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend that she good. She not like any of that stuff that they have in the papers, and let them know that's why they have it in the papers. Message, because they know that I bring goodness to the, what do they say, the swamp, right? And I'm not the whole drain the swamp and all that kind of stuff. The reality is that there will always very likely be, especially in the immediate coming years, we will have bipartisanship. So it does not serve us well to lead with our ass for either party. Like the Republicans shouldn't lead with their ass talking to Democrats, and Democrats shouldn't lead with their ass talking to Republicans. And that's why a lot of Republicans, and not just Black Republicans, but a lot of Republicans like me. And that's also why a lot of the Democratic leaders like me, because they're like, wait, she's going to tell it like it is. She's not, it's not, yes, I want to be on the right side of justice. And yes, generally the Democrats are on the right side of justice, and therefore that's my party, right? But at the end of the day, there are some consciously minded Republicans. Maybe they're, of course, few and far between, but they do exist. And ironically enough, there are some Republicans that are at least willing to listen. And if we're only going to have this bipartisanship, we have to be able to listen, because otherwise they just yelling at each other and they taking digs at each other. And that's what we see 24/7. And that has served none of us well. That's wonky math. That's when 2 + 5 = 18. And that's wonky math, honey. That's wonky. Okay. All right. So now let's go on over to New Mexico. I think I have covered the recent inquiries. Oh, I guess I should say this. The major one is, what office are you running for? I can tell you that I'm running at large. I am not sure what office. And of course, the district designation, the new redistricting, doesn't apply to that consideration, because of course I'm running at large, but I need to consider the candidate pool, and then I will get back with you. What I always try to do, I'm always mindful. I told you that about Jeff Jackson as well. And you know, he gets my vote, right? And Dr. Alma Adams gets my vote. Those, honey, those are easy. You know how Staples got the easy button? In politics, honey, you just go and push them too. Just
that was easy.
Boop, boop, right. You just
that was easy. That was easy. That was easy.
One more time.
That was easy.
You see what I'm saying? That's what you call finite math. That if you have to think, should I vote for Dr. Alma Adams? Should I vote for Jeff? I can't help you on that one. I can't help you. But the point I'm making is that when considering the run for his district once upon a time, okay, so that was what, 2016, 17, when I was living in Bearwood community, right? I was researching what candidates were running for what office, right? Because we want to, effectively what I'm getting at is we want to replace, so we want to pursue the seats that we need to, like they say, they flip. We need to, well, yeah, we need to flip. So, and even where we can't flip the seat, we need to vote for someone who is on the right side of justice. So normally what they mean when they say flip the seat is to flip it from one party to the other, obviously, right? But we need to make sure that those who are on the right side of justice are in those seats, right? So I don't run for an office for a seat that is already occupied by someone who is on the right side of justice. What's the point of that? And that should tell you something. So if I am ever running, ever running for an office, pay attention. That means we got to get some people out of that seat, honey. Pay attention now. And that even goes for some of those Democrats that y'all have learned. I think I told y'all this before. People have told me, and it wasn't me. Someone told me this one time, in two different ways. Someone said, Tigress, you raise the standard when you walk in the room. And I take that as a compliment. I appreciate it. I'm real laid back. I'm down to earth, but I hear what they're saying. Also, they say that I am a sifter, the equalizer, right? The equalizer before Queen Latifah. And no shade to Queen Latifah. Y'all know how much I respect Queen Latifah. I love me some Queen Latifah, right? And I wish I had time to watch the show. I don't even have time. I've been recording, just on the side note, I've been recording stuff on the whatever, the DVR, in the Hulus and all that kind of stuff. And I can't, I'm trying to actually go ahead and handle this so I can watch some of the programs, because y'all got such wonderful content out there. Such wonderful content out there. And I should actually make a list and say, these are the shows that I really like. I get really great positivity and I learn from them. Some of them are younger than me. Some of them are older than me. Some of them are a different gender, but the content out there, yeah, there's some excellent humans out there. Just know that there's some excellent humans out there. So I'm gonna try to watch some of the guys I haven't seen, but maybe 2 episodes of The Equalizer. And I was so excited because I love Denzel, of course, that's what, right. And I'm like, oh, and now Queen Latifah is gonna be like, oh, that's so perfect. That's just, and yeah. So, but yeah, so ultimately the main goal is not to compete against those who are in office who are on the right side of justice. And I need to be in the room, however, but from a seat that needs to be flipped, right? And again, like I said, they refer to me as the sifter. Like I will, when I enter the room, then I'm going to, the nonsense that is in the room, if it was hiding, it becomes agitated around me. And actually that was something that was prophesied on me when I was younger, that I would be a preacher, which is ironic because I guess you could consider that and attach it to me maybe metaphorically, even though I would not be your traditional preacher at a pulpit. And ultimately, that's what I want to bring to the table. I do want to use my strengths, the way I roll evidently works well for us to find out those individuals who we need to replace. And I'm speaking about one of those Democrats. And I've already used that person's name. I just don't feel like giving them any type of energy. Not on this platform, honey. They gonna have to find somebody else to talk about them. Not here. All right, so it's 7:25, so let's head on over to New Mexico, but look out for those videos that I will be uploading very soon, before my birthday, before the filing date. And I may, add some more as questions start to roll in. But yeah, it'll be here on my YouTube. And of course, I will copy paste on over to Facebook and run some ads and all that kind of stuff. We have been allowed, Facebook has now permitted the continuation or resuming the political ads. And of course, I've already gone through that process. I have my Pixel ID. I am approved to run political ads and all that stuff. So now let's get back to the core of this program. And let's start with the affirmation. May I further enlighten and encourage our collective understanding on the topics that we will discuss and address. And may I not cause further divide. All right, New Mexico it is. Here we go. So I'm going to, I'm sorry. He's 11 and I'm home. So just don't listen. All right, I'm not even sure if you can hear that, but if you can hear it, just, hey, let that go. We're human. We do human things. Okay, so let's go on over to let's see, get out of the way. Okay. I guess I should have just talked. No, get on out the way, silly. Okay. All right, so see, this is what I see when I tell you that I'm looking at all my controls. All right, so now we're going to pop up let's see if it brings up the right one. Okay, there we go. Okay. I'm trying to do better with not having a browser up with 8 million trillion gazillion windows. Okay, here we go. So the New Mexico legislature. Here we go. I can type. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. All right, here we go. I like their logo. Or maybe, what was that? Yeah, it's beautiful. I like when an eagle spreads their wings. It's just beautiful. Okay, so let's see here. I love that immediately. This is a first, but I love this New Mexico. The fact that they immediately acknowledge the accessibility accommodations. We have to all be more mindful of that. I'm having to be more mindful of it as well. Even though that was kind of like my regular resting disposition, right? Because you meet new people and you realize, you know what, I don't have any skill set, or I hadn't really prepared for that, and I can't imagine how this person feels because they don't feel included in a situation. And y'all know how I feel about inclusivity. That is a pet peeve of mine, honey. I do not like it when people are excluded. Because I feel like it's very condescending. Like, how dare you? How dare you? And we're talking about right side of justice, because of course, sometimes we need to exclude those who are not on the right side of justice, but they effectually have excluded themselves with their prejudicial disposition. Yeah, okay. All right. So I'm loving that we have accessibility accommodation. You see my ashwagandha? I'm serious about it. As a matter of fact, let me go and take it. And actually, I took it earlier. So I don't need to take it online right now, but this is ashwagandha. Some of you have asked other people, which I find very interesting, because I believe I was one of the, I don't know, feel free to correct me, but I believe that I was one, I was definitely one of the first in the actual holistic expert community. You've asked individuals to clarify, the benefits of ashwagandha. I find it very interesting that every time a doctoral scientist and holistic expert tells you something, that you don't believe them and you go ask someone that is new to the game. But it's okay. It's okay, because the person that most of you all have asked, she's awesome. So it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right. Y'all think I don't be knowing this stuff. Y'all think I don't be knowing this stuff. I do be knowing this stuff. Okay. So let's go ahead and take that notification out the box there. All right. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Legislature. So we have the second session of the 55th Legislature. March 9th, legislation not acted upon by governor's pocket vetoed. Okay, all right. You know how I feel about social media. So a lot of the websites, they may have, that classic contact, or the classic icons for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, maybe even Snapchat, stuff like that, right? I love it when it's included, because sometimes you don't want to have to log in, maybe based on where you're at or whatever you're doing, and you want to just be able to see it in real time and see everything on that one site, right, that you visited. So I like this. So in my opinion, I think this is a plus. So we're doing very well so far. I think the colors are just let me move this here so I can see what, oh, okay. So this is just flag, and I guess they're probably court administrative buildings, maybe the Capitol, something like that. I have been to New Mexico. One of my good friends in college, we were in the same dance company. He'll know what this means if he ever sees this. He'll know. Actually, I believe he works in the White House now. I'm not going to tell you his name. Some of you know his name from my post. Actually, his birthday just passed. We have not had communication in quite some time. I haven't seen my friend in a very long time. Unfortunately, life pulls you in different directions, and you just, after I had my son, just who knows? I don't even know his number now. But yeah, you know, if you see this video, you know how to get in contact with me. Yeah, because he doesn't do Facebook anymore and stuff like that. And that's how, you know, we were able to keep up more. And I understand because Facebook, you know, doesn't work for us all. But yes, the point I'm making is that he was in the Air Force back in the day. And actually, I believe he still is, or a veteran at this point. And there's a base in Albuquerque, and I visited him, road trips. We were road trip, honey. Yes, we did. So many things, so many wonderful, amazing things. I will say this too, Mocha Chalet. He'll know what that means too. No love lost ever. Anyway, I have definitely been there. The architecture is gorgeous, gorgeous. So if you love the Adobe style, the clay and earthen Native American, honey, like Arizona, and then they kind of throw that modern twist, or they're parts of what is it, like, oh gosh, what's Rancho Cucamonga in California, those areas. If that's your jam, woo, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay, so let's head on over. So I'm thinking they could do better, but it's not bad. It's not visually unappealing. It's just not visually appealing, you know? All right, so then let's go to the house. Where we're at, 7:35. We're doing good. We're doing good. You know that I like to see. I'm definitely more visual than I am audible, or you know, like I want to, especially when we're talking about legislators, I want to see. I want to see. So it's nice that they have pictures right off the bat. So we can see the diversity up front, and we do. And New Mexico is wonderfully diverse as well. I love that about New Mexico. Actually, let's go to the census and just see the literal diversity of New Mexico. What did I do there? How did I do that? Okay, there we go. Let's see, New Mexico. All right, here we go. As of 2019, the whole state population of about 2 million. That's eye-opening when you think about it, because again, you all know I live in Charlotte, and the greater metropolis area is 1 milli. Yeah. You know, with the surrounding townships, yeah, 1 milli, honey, 1 milli. Okay, so let's see here. There is a Caucasian or white alone majority, 81%. Black or African Americans, 2.6, Native Americans, Alaskan Natives, 11%, Asian alone, about 2%, Native Hawaiian, 0.2, and then 2 or more races, about 3%, Latino, 50%. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And then white alone that are not of Latino descent, 36.8. So lots of diversity there when you consider the multicultural aspect of most people there is what we can infer from this. Veterans, as I've already alluded to, about 150,000 of those. So yeah, okay. All right, so let's go on over here, back to the legislators. And let's see what we're working with. I believe it's a Democratic state. I'm almost certain, but let's count it out, count it up. Here, let me do this here. Oop, I'm trying to move myself out of the way. It ain't about you. It ain't about you, Tigress. Okay, so let's see here. All right, here we go. We're gonna count it up. I think I started with Democrats before, so we'll start with Republicans. And because of course here, it doesn't give us the tally off gate, you know, like with the other place we visited last week, Idaho. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have a Black Republican right here. You see that? Black woman Republican at that. I just lost my whole train of thought. I wish I could rewind and go back. I think it was 16. We may not be exact, but you with me because it did kind of throw me off. It kind of threw me off, even though I understand. And I've explained to you that there are some that have gone back. They've resumed adoption of political disposition of 4-time for the majority of Black Americans, and we understand. So we don't know her. We don't know why, you know, we don't know her exact why. So we will look into it because we need to, this is an indicator. We need to dive into, you know, her background and find out, you know, what's going on there. Is it motivated by being on the right side of justice or motivated by being disconnected with her heritage? We don't know. We'll find out. Let's hope for the best. All right, so I believe it was 16, 17, or it might have been 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. Wait, did I get a number? No, I thought it was a number down there. It was just the copyright day. All right, 22. I guess I can infer. Let me, because she does do finite math. For real, for real. Okay, so we can infer. All right. So 22. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 66 plus the last 4, they have 70 total. All right, let's see what we got. Because when we count, and I should have done that before, that's what I've done in our previous sessions, but I didn't expect to find that very interesting dynamic there. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and count the Democrats. 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna be honest. Remember, I don't know everything. I'm right off the bat, I'm not sure what DTS stands for. So, and it wouldn't be majority leader and all that kind of stuff. We don't, yeah. So, I don't know. We'll dive into it, but they don't allow you to. Oh yeah, you can click, because I want to know immediately. What does that mean? DTS. I don't know what that means. Oh my God, he's been in office since 1977. And he might be a great person, but I don't think that if we're using the principles that we are applying for this study, 19 years, remember, after 19 years, it's a constitution by force, not by democratic principles. And he's a Democrat. So, and I'm pretty sure he's familiar with, the letters, right? From Jefferson to Madison and to others. So I don't know. This is possibly a really good example of a Democrat who might need to not be in office. You get what I'm saying? Okay. All right. And then so DTS, I don't know. Okay. Let me focus. Let's go back. And then what did I do? Did it give me a new window or no? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then interesting. We'll figure that out. But okay, 1, 2. We're not even gonna count them right now. 1, 2, and it's ironic, District 66. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. We already know it's a majority. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. All right, so now we know what we got. It's actually neck and neck. So not exactly half, but 45 to, I counted 22, and we didn't count the gentleman there. What's his name? Let's see. We didn't count Phelps. So we're looking at 46 and 24. Yeah, I'm tripping. That's not neck and neck. I was looking at it. I was doing wonky math for a second there, right? I was thinking 35, and then yeah, I'm tripping. Very, very interesting. Okay, so I see some indicators, and so this is a good segue to incorporate a post that I tweeted yesterday about stereotypes. So the stereotype is indeed founded on the basis of truth. It's founded on the basis in truth. There is truth behind many stereotypes, hence stereotype, it's a generalization, right, of a group or character or characteristics, right? How and which and ever. The overgeneralization of that stereotype, that's what introduces, or therefrom is what arises the prejudice, right? Okay, so I see some indicators. I'm not going to point them out verbally. I am going to go to these individuals because I don't want to be, this is not the point of this. However, the point of this is to do the same thing that I'm doing, be intentional. Some of our outward appearance does tell you or give you indicators of who we are. Sometimes we do it intentionally. We want to portray who we are through our expression of ourselves, through fashion, through hairstyles, earring choice, different things like that. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, pardon me, y'all. For instance, my nails are a quiet protest. Some will see it as a quiet protest. However, some will see it, and this is what we're talking about, the prejudice, the overgeneralization. Some will say, okay, well, all women who wear nails like this are ghetto, or all women who wear nails like this are ratchet, or no good, or gold diggers, or, high maintenance, right? A lot of people know that I do my own nails. Now, these nails were, yes, indeed, done by a salon because I needed them to take pictures for corporate marketing. And the new color scheme is yellow. Some of you are familiar with it, okay? And then, so for me, I understand that the stereotype has some basis in truth. It does. It has some basis in truth. There are a lot of women who wear quote unquote flamboyant or wild colors or, things of that nature, and they may be ghetto and they may be ratchet, right? However, that's not all Black women. That's not all women. Some of us, we wear it because we may have worked in fields or still work in fields that have very strict attire standards. And that would be one of mine. Or it's the implication of the conservative attire for the field in which they work. For me, it was literal at one point, and now it's more of an implied standard. Of course, as a scientist and an economist, that's where that comes into play. But when I was a ranger, it was not permitted with the uniform. You wouldn't have seen me with nails like this or these rings or large jewelry. It was not permitted because of the uniform standard, okay? And so now I do it because I am no longer an active federal ranger, and thus I am not subject to that uniform standard, right? Equally, if you're looking at the screen, we have signifiers, right? They tell us things about the individual. And so I'm just going to kind of go through and see if any of it is accurate. And I may not point out whether or not it's accurate, but I will go to those individuals because we're trying to find out those who are on the right side of justice and then figure out who are not on the wrong, who are on the wrong side of justice and kind of go from there. I don't know what DTS is. I'm going to first look that up really quickly. We got 751, and then we'll continue on, and then hop over to the Senate. Give me a second, and we'll try to make this quick. All right, DTS party in New Mexico. That is. Leave DTS voters, allowing DTS and independent voters the right to vote. Registration. Wow. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this. This is interesting. So I'm going, you see what I'm talking about? We are finding out some interesting things we're gonna come back to New Mexico because this is interesting. I want to see some more on this. I'm gonna go ahead and copy paste this. I'm gonna go over here real quick to my Facebook. You just have to see Ear Geisenberg. Y'all already know what I do for it. It's me. It's me, honey. It's me. All right. So then I'm posting this immediately because this is interesting. It's very interesting. Okay. So if you're reading along with me now, or when you watch this in the future, this is so interesting. Wow. Yeah, we have to come back to this because we're only going to have 7 minutes. The right to vote is the centerpiece of our democracy. Regardless of political party, New Mexicans want free and fair elections where every eligible citizen can participate. Common Cause New Mexico is a leading force in protecting the right to vote and making voting more accessible. Over the years, we've made progress and our election laws are generally voter friendly. However, there are still some areas where we must improve, including our closed primary system, which disenfranchises independent and decline to state, that's DTS, voters. We should also move to ranked choice voting to give voters more choices and create fair elections. Yeah, because I've talked about this, the primary system, the primary election. A lot of people still are not, well informed about the primary election. And I've told you many, 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 many times that those more high profile races are very likely going to have a primary election. And a lot of you have been like, well, why couldn't I vote for you as mayor? Because I wasn't on the general election ballot. And why wasn't I on the general election ballot? Because not enough citizens or voters chose me or voted for me to give me enough votes or majority votes, because they choose like the top the top candidates. That was really awkward, but I'm not cutting it out because I'm human and I stumble over my words sometimes. But those who have received the most votes, if you will, right? It's like the top 3 or maybe top 2, right? And of course, it's specific to your party. Those are the individuals, the candidates that make it to your general election ballot. So you won't see my name on there if you didn't vote for me in the primary. And if I didn't get enough votes during the primary, then boom, I'm out. I'm out of the race. And it's a very, very divisive or divisive, however you want to say it. It's okay with me. Tool for those who are corruptly motivated, in politics, because they know that they can very easily basically render really great candidates who are on the right side of justice ineligible for continuation in the election cycle. What you gonna do? This is how we learn. We learn together. I'm hopeful that you're learning with me. Tell some other people, come on board. This is what we do over here, okay? All right, so this is very, very interesting. Yeah, we have to come back to that. Wow, very, very interesting. Okay, so decline to state. Yeah, because I want to figure out, is he assuming this disposition because he believes in it? Like, is he one of the proponents, or is he doing it corruptly? Because I could see like this could have some pros and cons. There's a flip side to this coin here. So I'm not sure. And especially the reason why I am gravitating toward my concerns of corruption is because he's been in office since umpteen ever ago. Have you done anything else but this? and I say that because there are individuals who feel that they are entitled to, this, again, political class. Like, well, my father was a public figure, so therefore I'm in the political class, and I'm entitled to be in this position for the rest of my life. And this is the income that I intend to have. This is the career that I intend to make for myself. And they're really not there for the actual driver, which is democracy, because this is a democratic country. We have a democratic system, at its core, even if it fails, some of us or all of us too often, right? Or too many of us. Wow. Mm-hmm. And he's the only one. And I definitely did misspeak in one regard, because I misread that. So reading is fundamental. So he served initially for 3 years, from 1977 to 1980. And then he's been serving since 2019. So maybe. And he's from Roswell. That's interesting too, right? I don't know. This is so, yeah, we got to come back to this. It doesn't show us leadership off the bat. So we'll handle the senators next go round. Let's go to leadership. Let's see if he's in leadership. So of course we have a Democratic majority here. So the Speaker of the House, President Pro Tem, right? No, he's not part of the leadership. You know that I am here for women being in leadership. I can only hope that Linda Lopez is on the right side of justice, even though she is, well, no, yeah, because that's, hopefully she's on the right side of justice on the Senate side. She is a Democrat, remember, majority, and it should be majority, even though we haven't counted, but we will, we can surmise. That would be a safe surmise that, you have a Democratic majority on the Senate side too. Interesting, very interesting. Phelps, who are you? Well, we will find out next go round, folks. Yes, we will. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop sharing. And we will end here, and I will bid you adieu and say, I am Tigress Sydney Acute McDaniel, your host of Evolve Weekly, on this series, this 52-week series on how to implement a more perfect union. All right, we're heading on back to New Mexico next week.